وَخَلَقْنَاكُمْ أَزْوَاجًا. Azwajan comes with multiple meanings in the Qur'an. The word zawj. Here, As-Sa'di rahimahullah ta'ala, he says, ذُكُورًا وَإِنَاثًا مِنْ جِنْسٍ وَاحِدٍ. Male and female from a single species. And that is what is apparent in the context of the ayah. Because the context of the ayah is important. That the ayah, the way that Allah is speaking to us in the ayah, is He speaking to us about the fact that we, you and I, and we are from a species that Allah Azza wa Jal created male and female. وَمِنْ آيَاتِهِ أَنْ خَلَقَ لَكُم مِّنْ أَنفُسِكُمْ أَزْوَاجًا لِتَسْكُنُوا إِلَيْهَا وَجَعَلَ بَيْنَكُمْ مَوَدَّةً وَرَحْمَةً. From the ayat of Allah is that He created for you from yourselves spouses لِتَسْكُنُوا إِلَيْهَا, so you can live with them in tranquility. وَجَعَلَ بَيْنَكُمْ مَوَدَّةً وَرَحْمَةً, and He made between you love and mercy. إِنَّ فِي ذَلِكَ لَآيَاتٍ لِقَوْمٍ يَتَفَكَّرُونَ. So this is also من آيات الله عز وجل. And imagine how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created male and female and made it that you want to marry and you have children. This is a sign from the signs of Allah Azza wa Jal. Ayah min ayatillah. But the other meaning of azwajan is asnafan, any different types. For example, the statement of Allah Azza wa Jal, احشروا الذين ظلموا وأزواجهم. That gather those who have oppressed and their azwaj. Here it doesn't mean their wives, because their wife maybe didn't do anything wrong. Look at Asiya, radiyallahu anha, Asiya, the wife of Fir'aun. Will she be gathered with Fir'aun? احشروا الذين ظلموا وأزواجهم. No, here the azwaj are al-ashbah, the ones that are similar. So the ones that are the same as you or similar to you. احشروا الذين ظلموا وأزواجهم. The ones who resemble them and are similar to them. So here there's a possibility وَخَلَقْنَاكُمْ أَزْوَاجًا أَصْنَافًا, different types, a party in paradise and a party in the hellfire. That's not the most apparent meaning here. The meaning that comes to mind is male and female, so that you can live together with each other in tranquility, and He's made between you love and mercy, and made this the reason for you to have children. And this is imtinanun min Allah. Allah is reminding you of His blessings. Why does Allah remind us of His blessings? Allah reminds us of His blessings. There's two things here. The first is that we realize these are from Allah. Even hatta Quraysh, the mushrikeen of Quraysh, they knew these were from Allah. They knew that their children were a gift from Allah. And so when they are reminded that this is a gift from Allah Azza wa Jal, they are then asked the question, why do you worship others? If you believe it is Allah who created the earth, Allah who placed the mountains for you, Allah who gave you safety, Allah who gave you spouses, Allah who gave you children, then why do you worship other than Him? The other is to remind us to look at the signs of Allah. Every one of these things that Allah mentions is an ayah min ayatillah. It's a sign. So Allah Azza wa Jal signs are of two types. Ayatun shar'iyya and ayatun kawniyya. There are signs in the sharia, which is the ayat we are reading now. عَمَّا يَتَسَاءَلُونَ عَنِ النَّبَإِ الْعَظِيمِ الَّذِي هُمْ فِيهِ مُخْتَلِفُونَ كَلَّا سَيَعْلَمُونَ. Ayat, the ayat of the Qur'an. And there are ayat in the universe. The earth is an ayah min ayatillah. The mountains are an ayah. The fact that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created you male and female, and that you love each other, you live together, you have children, from your same species is an ayah. إِنَّ فِي ذَلِكَ لَآيَاتٍ. There are ayat in this. لِقَوْمِ يَتَفَكَّرُونَ, for a people who think. وَجَعَلْنَا نَوْمَكُمْ سُبَاتًا. The word subata is an interesting word. It's the same word as a sabt, right? Subata. Ibn Faris, rahimahullah ta'ala, he says that the sin and the ba and the ta, all of them go back to the meaning of ar-raha. And that's what As-Sa'di says here. Relaxation and not working. So, as-sin wal-ba wal-ta, when they come together, it comes with the meanings related to relaxing. And that's why a sabt is called a sabt. The sabt of the Yahud, the Sabbath, is the day in which they don't do any work, right? They're not allowed to work, and they're not allowed to do creative things, and they're not allowed to drive, and they're not allowed, their shops are all closed. This is a sabt, the Sabbath, because it's Yawm al-Raha. And the interesting thing is, our day of Jumu'ah is not Yawm al-Raha. فَإِذَا قُضِيَتِ الصَّلَاةِ فَانْتَشِرُوا فِي الْأَرْضِ. Yani when you finish the prayer for Jumu'ah, go out and open your shops and do your work and earn the blessings that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has prepared and given you. And this is another way that we are just talking about being different from the kuffar. That even the Christians took Al-Ahad as a sabt for them, like as a day of raha. Yani they don't do anything, they close their shops. Okay, they're not as strict as the Jews. The Jews were very strict on the Sabbath. Those who are practicing Jews are extremely strict on the Sabbath. The Christians are less strict, but still the Sunday is they used to keep all the shops closed, and they open them for a few hours, and they don't let them be open for a long time and things like that. Whereas for the Muslims, our time is just Salat al-Jumu'ah, the khutbah and the salah. Before that we work, and after that we work. And if we take a relaxation on that day, there's no harm in it. But we don't religiously relax on the day of Jumu'ah. And that's another just a difference between Islam and between Ahl Kitab. Allah made your sleep subata, rahatan lakum wa qat'an li ashghalikum. That's another meaning some of the scholars of Lugha mention about the subat or as-sabt, is it means al-qat', like cutting off all the things that make you busy. Here is an important, and it's a sign from the signs of Allah Azza wa Jal, our sleep. Could you imagine if you had to be awake 24 hours a day? Any of you guys are young, Allahumma barik, you've done some all-nighters. 1 time, 2 times, wallahi you feel it. And the older you get, the worse you feel it. Recently I moved house, and I had a couple of times we had to stay up the whole night. Wallahi, you can see on the person's body, you can see in their eyes, you can see in even their mental state becomes completely disrupted by the fact that they haven't had sleep. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made your sleep a complete rest for you. And so even As-Sa'di here mentions that your body is harmed, but not only your body, because Allah Azza wa Jal made you made up of 2 things. You're made up of a body and you're made up of a soul. Hatta even your soul, your nafs, is harmed by if you don't get rest. Here's an interesting point. The statement of Allah Azza wa Jal, تَتَجَافَى جُنُوبُهُمْ عَنِ الْمَضَاجِعِ. The Muslims who get up and pray at night, and they're tired. Some of the ulama, they said, سِيمَاهُمْ فِي وُجُوهِهِمْ مِنْ أَثَرِ السُّجُودِ. The athar al-sujud, the sujud, is not the mark of the sujud, like the stones on their forehead. It's when you can see that they didn't sleep in their eyes because they were praying at night. That's a view. There's another view that the min athar as-sujud is the mark of the floor on your forehead. Like some of them said, the ayah سِيمَاهُمْ فِي وُجُوهِهِمْ مِنْ أَثَرِ السُّجُودِ is the bags under their eyes and the red eyes because they stayed praying at night. For you to wake up and give up that raha for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, give up that relaxation for Allah, at least to come to Fajr, if not for Qiyam al-Layl. This is something that Allah Azza wa Jal has instructed you with. In terms of Fajr, it's an obligation upon you, and in terms of Qiyam al-Layl, it's a recommendation for you. But our sleep is made as a time for us to rest. وَجَعَلْنَا نَوْمَكُمْ سُبَاتًا وَجَعَلْنَا اللَّيْلَ لِبَاسًا. And we made the night a libas, a clothing for you, and it covers you. It covers you in order that you can rest. So the night comes, the darkness comes, and it cloaks you. It gives you a chance to rest. And subhanAllah, even, not to go too far into the, we said not to make a scientific discussion, but just generally speaking, the way that your body takes its rhythm from the light and the dark. That when you have a bright light, you wake up, right? You feel energized, you wake up, you're ready to go. When the darkness comes and the lights go away, so you feel ready to sleep. And you sleep and you rest. And because of that, you worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You're able to get up and pray at night. You're able to come for Fajr. And the barakah is, burika li ummati fi bukuriha. The barakah is in the early morning. The barakah that comes after Fajr. Because Allah Azza wa Jal made the night time for you to sleep. Some of the ulama here, they mention a big benefit. The harm that we bring upon ourselves when in the world we live in today, is a world where in many places the night comes alive. And people spend, bright lights, the city, the shops are all open, restaurants and everything, and you have like this whole life that you even have people who their whole night, they awake in the night and they sleep in the day. And this is not something which the Muslims, it's not fitriya, and it's not something which is your fitrah. It's not necessarily haram for a person to be awake at night, but it's harmful for you to do it regularly, and it's not the fitrah. It's not the fitrah to be up until the middle of the night. It's not the fitrah to have these, bright lights and everything open, and people treat the nighttime like the daytime. Allah made the nighttime for you to rest. The Prophet ﷺ used to dislike to speak after Salatul Isha. Sometimes he did, but he used to dislike. After Isha, he disliked speaking. He preferred that he would retire, sleep, and then wake up for Qiyam al-Layl. He used to sleep for half of the night, and then pray for a third of the night, and then sleep for a sixth of the night. That was his routine, even though he did more sometimes, but his usual routine was to go to bed after Salatul Isha, to sleep for half of the night, and half the time between Maghrib and Fajr approximately. To wake up and pray a third of the night, and then to sleep a sixth of the night. And this is what is natural. This is the fitrah that Allah has created you upon. And the more you go against it, the more harmful it is to you. And there's no doubt some of us are night owls. Some of us we prefer to work a little bit in the night, to read a little bit in the night. There's no harm, because Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu used to revise the hadith at night, and the Prophet ﷺ didn't stop him from doing it. He didn't say to him, Abu Hurairah, don't revise hadith at night. But even the ulama who used to revise at night, they still suffered. Their eyesight suffered from reading by candlelight, reading by torch, by oil lamp. No doubt Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the fitrah is that Allah made you to be productive in the day and made you to be still and calm and relaxed and go to sleep in the night. وَجَعَلْنَا اللَّيْلَ لِبَاسًا وَجَعَلْنَا النَّهَارَ مَعَاشًا. Allah made the daytime to be a time of your living, a time where you go about and you live your life. You earn a livelihood. You work in the daytime and you go about your life. You go and that's when you're productive, in the early morning. So it's not to say that, like we said, we're not saying it's forbidden for you to stay up at night. But don't make a habit of it unnecessarily, and try to be at your most productive in the day, because that's what Allah Azza wa Jal created you for the night to wrap you up and help you to sleep, and for the daytime to be the time when you are up and about and earning your living. And there's also a benefit in that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala could have provided for us rizq, al-man wa salwa, just to come down upon us from the sky. We don't need to work, no need to have a job, no need to have any profession. Just go outside your house and al-man wa salwa came from Jannah, you just eat it. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala decreed for us that this life requires hard work. Look at Umar radiallahu anhu. He used to go a day with the Prophet ﷺ, and a day he would go and he would farm. Then he would come and his neighbor would go and farm for the day, and he would go and sit with the Prophet ﷺ, and they would change with each other. Allah made your daytime a time when you go out and earn a living. And this is again the fitrah. Going out and earning a living, working for the rizq which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives you. وَبَنَيْنَا فَوْقَكُمْ سَبْعًا شِدَادًا. We built above you 7 heavens. فِي غَايَةِ الْقُوَّةِ. Extremely strong. وَالصَّلَابَ. Solid. وَالشِّدَّةِ. And these are strong, firm and powerful heavens. And these are also min ayatillahi azza wa jal. So everything here is from the ayat of Allah. And if you think about the night and the day, Allah azza wa jal mentions وَمِنْ آيَاتِهِ, from the ayat of Allah, al-layl wal-nahar, the night and the day. The night and the day are from the signs of Allah azza wa jal. And you remember, what would it be like if Allah took that away from you? In the beginning of, not in the beginning, sorry, but in the Surah Al-Qasas, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says, قُلْ أَرَأَيْتُمْ إِنْ جَعَلَ اللَّهُ عَلَيْكُمُ اللَّيْلَ سَرْمَدًا إِلَى يَوْمِ الْقِيَامَةِ مَنْ إِلَهٌ غَيْرُ اللَّهِ يَأْتِيكُمْ بِالضِّيَاءِ أَفَلَا تَسْمَعُونَ قُلْ أَرَأَيْتُمْ إِنْ جَعَلَ اللَّهُ عَلَيْكُمُ النَّهَارَ سَرْمَدًا إِلَى يَوْمِ الْقِيَامَةِ مَنْ إِلَهٌ غَيْرُ اللَّهِ يَأْتِيكُمْ بِلَيْلٍ تَسْكُنُونَ فِيهِ أَفَلَا تُبْصِرُونَ. Allah says, do you see, if Allah made the night continue forever until Yawm al-Qiyamah, is there any God who will bring you a light to see? Will you not hear? Say, if Allah made the daytime last forever until Yawm al-Qiyamah, is there any God that will bring you a night that you can sleep in? Look at the idols they worship. Do they believe that those idols bring them the day and the night? Do they believe that the sun and the moon were created by those idols? They don't. So all of this is brought in the context of the ayat of Allah in His creation, and also in the context of al-imtinan, and Allah reminding you of His blessings. And from the ayat of Allah are the heavens that are above. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala seizes the heavens so that they don't fall down upon the earth. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala stops the heavens from falling upon the earth. And there are so many benefits in the heavens for us. And from the benefits and the signs of Allah that are in the heavens, وَجَعَلْنَا سِرَاجًا وَهَاجًا. So once again, you can refer to other ayat in which you can understand the message that is intended here. For example, at the end of Surah Fatir, Allah Azza wa Jal says, إِنَّ اللَّهَ يُمْسِكُ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ أَن تَزُولَ وَلَئِنْ زَالَتَا إِنْ أَمْسَكَهُمَا مِنْ أَحَدٍ مِنْ بَعْدِهِ إِنَّهُ كَانَ حَلِيمًا غَفُورًا. Allah holds the heavens and the earth to stop them from disappearing. And if they were to disappear, no one other than Allah would be able to keep them there, to hold them. Allah stops the heavens from falling upon the earth. And all of these are from the signs of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that Allah Azza wa Jalla encourages us to reflect upon. And from the signs in the heaven, وَجَعَلْنَا سِرَاجًا وَهَّاجًا. We have made a siraj. A siraj is a lamp. And the word wahaj is that which is fueled. And it's full of fuel. Wahaj is that which is full of fuel. I look at the English, I have also the English Tafsir al-Sa'di here. It's blazing because of the burning fuel. Sirajan wahaja, and this is the sun. And this is a sign from the signs of Allah Azza wa Jal. And Allah reminds you the blessing of the light of the sun, which is a necessity for creation to live. And Allah Azza wa Jal reminds you of the heat of the sun. The heat of the sun is a benefit for us, and it's also a harm. And we need Allah Azza wa Jal to give us its benefit and keep us away from its harm. وَأَنزَلْنَا مِنَ الْمُعْصِرَاتِ مَاءً ثَجَّاجًا. We sent down from the mu'sirat. As-Sa'di rahimahullah ta'ala, he says, as-sahab, the clouds. But in reality, the mu'sirat is more than just the clouds. Because the word, you say, imra'atun mu'sirah, is a woman who is about to start her menses but hasn't started. So the mu'sirat are the clouds that hold the rain, but the raindrops haven't yet fallen from them. For the mu'sirat, and some of them said the mu'sirat is the wind. But this is a little bit more complicated. It's true in Arabic the word mu'sir can be used for the wind as well. But the mu'sirat here are the clouds that are full of water, but the water hasn't yet fallen from them. So they're the clouds that are heavy with rain. Ma'an thajjaja. Allah sends water and He describes that rain water as thajjaj. Thajjaj is a word that comes with the meaning of al-kathra wa tatabu'. Lots of water and rain that follows rain. Rain that follows rain. There's a hadith they use for the word. The hadith of al-istihada. The hadith of the woman who was suffering from bleeding. Because she uses the same word in the description of it. The hadith of Hamna binti Jahsh, when the Prophet ﷺ spoke to her about, or when the Prophet ﷺ spoke about the woman who was suffering from, and for her who was suffering from, she said, "Kuntu astahidu haydatan kathiratan shadida." And I used to suffer from istihada, and regular bleeding that was very severe. In some of the narrations, she mentions the Prophet ﷺ told her to clean herself. And she said, هو أكثر من ذلك إنما أثج ثجا. She said, my bleeding is more than that. أثج ثجا. It's constant and it's heavy. And that's the word, ثجاجا is like that. It's the same word that she used. She said, أثج ثجا. And look at the lugha of the Sahaba, how their language is. And every word that they knew, this word is something which is, it falls heavily and constantly. ماء ثجاجا. And As-Sa'di says, كثيرا جدا, a huge amount of water. But the meaning here is a huge amount that is continuous. ماء ثجاجا. لنخرج به حبا ونباتا. From this water, and this is the signs of Allah. Allah is reminding us of the signs of Allah Azza wa Jalla. Allah sends down rain, and from that rain you have al-hab wa nabat. You have al-hab, which are the grains, the seeds. Grains and seeds like wheat and barley and corn and rice. As-Sa'di mentions. And As-Sa'di here brings a view, which is a view, like it's marjuh, wallahu alam, that he mentions that al-hab is particular to human beings, and the an-nabat is particular to the animals. But it's not really true. In reality, al-hab can be used for human beings or animals. It's the seeds and grains. And likewise, an-nabat, which are the plants that grow. And the plants that grow are for the animals and also for us, that we eat from those plants, the greens. So we eat from the grains and we eat from the greens. All of them which come down from or come out from the rain that Allah Azza wa Jal sends down. And elsewhere, Allah Azza wa Jal uses this as an evidence against the kuffar, that you people don't believe in the resurrection, but you see the earth dead, and then we send down the rain upon the earth, and you see the plants and the grains and the fruits come out from it. كذلك النشور. This is how the resurrection will be. وَجَنَّاتٍ أَلْفَافًا. Jannat, a jannah, the word, the jim and the noon is used for anything which is hidden from the eye. And here a jannah is a garden that is hidden because of the thick vegetation in it. And that's why paradise is also called Jannah, because it's hidden from the eye. It's a garden, the gardens of paradise, but you can't see it now. These Jannats, they are gardens and they are alfafa. So they are multaffa. Alfafa, they are interwound. The vegetation, it winds into itself. Here it says dense with foliage, and in the translation it says dense with trees. But alfafan means that the branches, they're multaffa, taltafu. They wind and they twine into each other. So the grass and the vegetation all grows into itself, so you can't see what is inside of it. This is in this earth. وَجَنَّاتٍ أَلْفَافًا. And in it there are so many tasty fruits. So As-Sa'di rahimahullah ta'ala, he says, these are the blessings which Allah blessed the people with. People, you can't weigh the value of these blessings. You can't count them. How can you deny what Allah has told you about the resurrection? And how can you use the blessings of Allah, believing they are Allah's blessings, and use them to disobey Him. And that proves, and that addition to the tafsir, proves the view of As-Sa'di regarding the first ayah, that عَمَّ يَتَسَاءَلُونَ refers to al-ba'th, the resurrection, and not the Qur'an.